September 5th, in the dark of the moon, just one day before the new moon, we get an intense and kind of complex square between Venus in Libra, our alignment of relationships, and Pluto, the lord of the underworld. This is kind of a beautiful, like raw, beautiful alignment that I have grown to really appreciate. I find that on Venus square Pluto aspects, we really are, that shadow side of ourselves is really calling to be seen. That shadow side of ourselves really wants to know, am I just as lovable as my light? The bright light that I'm always readily sharing, that other people recognize me for and love me for. The shadow is very often where our complexities and our wisdom and some of our more formative experiences live. And so that side is kind of begging for a little bit of validation from the outside. And so when sometimes this can kind of come out in ways that we don't have a ton of control over. Sometimes there can just be a sense of, maybe it's jealousy, maybe it's insecurity. There are ways, because Pluto really wants to have control. And so when we're feeling insecure, when we're feeling unlovable perhaps, insecure of what the relationship is doing for us, we can sometimes bring that side out to see, is my shadow just as lovable? And so it can come out in ways that maybe we're not even fully conscious of. But I do think that this aspect can be really beautiful when we can recognize that that's really what's happening, when we can recognize that there's a part of ourselves that's darker, more complex, more obscured, that not everyone has the privilege to see or get to experience. When we can consciously share that side of ourselves with our partner or with our friends even, because this is an air sign. Venus is an air sign. We want to talk about it. We want to process it. And when we do that, when we open up, when we're raw, when we're vulnerable with other people, it's almost like there's more trust that's being built. There's more of a connection, like the connection really tends to deepen. And also, like, there's a bonding that can take place because we're in the sign of Libra. There's a sense of reciprocation that can happen. Maybe we're both sharing about our fears. Maybe we're both sharing some of our anxieties about what's going on in the world right now. Maybe we're both sharing something really crazy that happened to us in the past that really made us who we are today. So yeah, this can be a really beautiful aspect for creating deeper levels of intimacy in a relationship. And being that Pluto is extremely psychological, there's something really therapeutic too about talking these things out, and also writing too. The one thing we really want to be careful with when Venus squares Pluto is projection, because Venus in Libra can really identify, can hear and identify with something that someone else is saying and be like, oh my God, that must be the same exact experience that I had. We need to remember to hold space for the different ways that someone could experience a similar event. We can't just assume that it's the exact same, or we also can't blame other people for what we're feeling necessarily. So that's another thing to really keep in mind with Venus square Pluto. It does tend to be a little bit trickier of an aspect. So just watch for projection there. But mostly why I appreciate Venus and Libra square to Pluto is because we could think about topical beauty a lot. When thinking about Venus and Libra, we can think about, what's stereotypically beautiful and everything like that. Being that the goddess of beauty is in her domicile, it's like the standard, it's the beauty standard or whatever. What we are culturally taught is beautiful. But I feel like this square with Pluto really opens it up to raw beauty. It's like a polished gemstone versus a raw gemstone. There's something beautiful about the roughness of a stone. And I feel like Venus's square to Pluto is that reminder that sometimes things are more beautiful in their raw unrefined, unpolished form, because it's something about the divots and the crevices and the rough sides and the smooth sides of this piece that make it really unique and make it really special and have such a beautiful story of having thick skin, of overcoming, of being wise. There's so many different layers of beauty. So yeah, I think that this aspect is the reminder that sometimes the very things that we fear make us unworthy or unlovable or even ugly are the things that make us the most beautiful. So that was your astrology shot of the day, and I really hope that this aspect is really good to you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Timing with Transits is my 11-week mentorship on the art of forecasting in astrology, and it starts this week. So there's still time to sign up. You can check out all the details on my website, and I really hope to see you there.